You create a new character voice in such a way that it's going to be nice and interesting and have lots of different flavours to it, whilst also allowing it to be healthy and not cause problems to your voice? Good question. Today I've been doing the first of a 2-day workshop on voice for improvisers, and tomorrow is the second day. And the question sort of came up, or the part of the journey, about how to create a new character voice, which is what we're working on, loads of different tips and techniques, but how to do it in a way that's going to be like sustainable over the course of, you know, a whole run of shows. Or if you're doing an audiobook, how can you keep going with that voice throughout the entire audiobook if you're narrating it, rather than just a sort of quick voice in a scene of improv, which is always a good question. And I thought today, given that I'm writing it for the notes for tomorrow, I would tell you the 5-step process to creating a new healthy character voice, which is really the sort of purpose of this particular 2-day workshop. So the first step number 1 to creating a character voice is to find the voice. Oh, great, find a new voice. How do you find a new voice? There are a bunch of different ways. I have on my notes. I've got 5 written down, in fact. 5 within a 5-step process. The first is through physicality. One of my favourite ways of playing around with a voice is just to put my body in different shapes and see what happens to my voice. Lots of things happen. Oh, maybe this is the character. Maybe I'm going to be one of those characters, you know. And like just mess around with the body until my voice goes into a place. That is just one option. Another is element work or animal work. So during clown school, I particularly enjoyed doing things like being blue. And you use a whole series of exercises and things where you embody the colour of blue, and maybe your blue is like this, and maybe your red is like this, and you know, there's a whole process, but it's that sort of idea. It's kind of moving away from anything logical and just playing around with things. Also animals, being a lion or being a meerkat, etc, etc. There's loads of they're all physical ways into the body. Technical vocal quality. You could use sob, like the still quality from the still teaching method. Quality or twang up here, you know, and there are these are all sort of tied to specific muscle movements. You could do that, piece them together like a jigsaw. You could just copy a voice, find one in the wild. Apparently this is what Peter Sellers, who played Inspector Clouseau in the Pink Panther, that was not his exact French accent. His French accent is ridiculous. Mine was also ridiculous, but in a different way. Anyway, he used to go and find them in the wild. He would just meet someone and then go, oh, this is the voice I'm going to teach. And he'd go and talk to them for a couple of hours, and then he would have their voice. Or, I've written down maybe the muse strikes you. I just make noises around my house sometimes. So sometimes I just come up with a noise and I play with that noise. Maybe I really like that, and I spend like several hours just wandering around. You know, just have fun. Stand in front of the bathroom mirror, look at myself. Apparently, I used to do this as a very young child. I used to sit in the bath and play with noises and listen to the acoustics in the bathroom. So says my mother. I don't remember. I was a kid at the time. That is the first step. Use one of these many, many methods to find new voices. Then the work begins, as they say. 2, you get it in the body. So as I say, you're playing around with that voice. What I'm doing, playing around with that for a couple of hours, wandering around the house, is I am learning that voice and I'm exploring. I'm going, oh, where is it in my body? How do I feel it? What's the limits of this voice? Can I be very sad in this voice? But how am I when I'm angry? I don't know. Is he angry? Is this character? You know, sort of just playing around with it and going, oh, what are the limits of this? Where did this voice go? And what is its number 1 to 10? You know, what's the smallest version of this voice? It's really, really tiny. And what's the biggest version of this voice? I'm not going to do that right now. I'm tired, but the 10 would be massive, usually. My 10. So that's the second one, get it in the body. Number 3 is find its key elements. Okay, so you've found the voice. Maybe this is the voice, I don't know. Maybe I'm hunching my shoulders and I'm doing this. Is that all really necessary for making this voice? Can I do it with a stretched neck? Can I do it moving around? Can I release the tension? How much of it is in the face? Do my lips need to do this? Or can I do it like this? Like, how can you release tensions all over the place? And what is the sort of key one element? In that case, this kind of sob quality. Low larynx, yawn. Okay. You know, maybe that's the kind of key thing that I focus on. Or maybe not. You know, pick 1 or 2 or 3 things. They're like, okay, with these 3 things, that voice exists. And the rest is all just unnecessary. And then it says something that I can't even read my own writing. No, doesn't. That's exactly what I just said. What is necessary to make this voice? It would be great if I could read my own writing. I really wish I could. Number 4 is make it healthy. And this is the bit that people struggle with and the bit we were talking about today in this workshop. Like, what tension is actually necessary in the voice? So you might get someone coming on stage and they might go like this. Hello, I'm a guy with a smoker. I'm talking with a Scottish accent and this smoking. And if you do that for a long time, you're going to hurt your voice. So how can I make it healthy? So one of the things is retraction. I was being taught by a voice coach recently, Peter Warnock, and he was reminding me retraction, which is also a thing that they talk about in this still. And it's constriction in the throat, and then there's retraction, which is the opposite. And it's like so there's effects that happen from constriction, which don't need to be unhealthy, by the way, but we'll get there in a second. But really, like, can you retract? Can you keep the vocal folds sort of in a healthy space and not banging together in a weird place, or the false folds banging together? Or there's a lot of technical stuff there. But also there's bigger tensions. You know, is my neck really tense? Does my neck need to be really tense to do this voice, or can I do this voice with a really released neck? If I can do it with a really released neck, is it can I release the jaw tension as well and still do this voice? Oh look, now suddenly a kind of gruffy voice that I had before, now I can tell from how I'm feeling it that this would be more sustainable. You know, so sometimes we just have tensions and they appear and we're doing a voice and we think they're necessary for the voice, but they're not. Another thing is breathiness. It's just, hello, I would like to talk to you today about something that is very, very important. And you know, that can be fun for a character, but it also passes a load of air over the vocal folds, which dries them out. So like, if that particular voice is necessary, is there a way that you can do it where it's not breathy, really? You're just playing with the length of the vowels without having to add that breathy element, you know. So you're just tweaking the voice, little things with your knowledge of voice as to what's healthy. If there are extreme vocal effects, like you know, that's not actually unhealthy if you do it in a healthy way. As you can tell from like tooth and throat singing and stuff. I'm going to do this badly because I'm not a tooth and throat singer, but they go, you know, things like that. That's really badly done. But there are methods. I do have learnt some. I'm not very good at them yet, but I will be when I practice them more. Yeah, so you're just making it healthy. You're tweaking that voice until you can still get a similar sound, but in a way that's healthy. Number 5, don't stop twiddling. Don't stop fiddling with it. Don't stop checking in. Don't stop releasing all of the tensions that you're picking up that are not necessary for that voice. No matter when you are in the process, you know, if you're rehearsing a play or something, you just keep checking in with your voice. Maybe by the 10th performance or something, once you've performed it all the time and then you've got through, your body knows the healthy ways if you've trained them in the healthy ways. But if I've got a friend, for example, we were talking about the other day, you know, they've done hundreds of shows with an unhealthy voice, and like retrofitting a healthy voice onto that show now is way harder because the show is like, you know, their body is like remembering an healthy way to do it. I was going to keep this video short. How do I manage to get them at 10 minutes? I do apologise. You don't care. You're either here or you're not. I feel terrible for pointing that out. You're going to be like, I've just wasted 10 hours of your life. You haven't, because you've learned the 5 steps to creating a healthy character voice. You find the voice through one of many methods, you get it in the body, play around, you find out what the key elements are, you make it healthy by tweaking it, and you keep doing that. Keep checking it's healthy over the long time that you use that voice. That is the process. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed it. That's it for now. If you like voice, if you're interested in things like this, sign up, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all the other things. And if you're interested in learning about your own voice, there is a wait list for the Voice Lab program that I'm putting together, which will be online at some point. Have a look in the description. Enjoy. Have a lovely time searching for new character voices. I did that so badly. I'm so tired today. I've just been teaching all day. What did I expect?